What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at The Good Liar, directed by Bill Condon, starring Helen Mirren and Sir Ian McKellen. Now, The Good Liar is about Ian McKellen, who is a career con man who has set his sights on his newest prize, which is the Helen Mirren character, who is recently widowed and is worth millions. So McKellen's character pretty much wants to swindle her out of her money. However, this movie's got a lot of twists and turns to it, and when what is a simple con ends up being something much, 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 much more than he even remotely prepared for. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into this. I overall think that The Good Liar is a solid cat and mouse thriller. This ain't the best cat and mouse thriller I've ever seen, but it's a good, solid one, and it's really built off the backs of McKellen and Helen Mirren, who are absolutely fantastic in this movie. These two prove that even though you're in old age, that does not prevent you from still having a commanding on screen presence and just being damn good. And these two are damn good in their roles. And they have a tremendous amount of on screen chemistry with one another. I think Ian McKellen as Roy Courtney, the con man, he's very suave, debonair, and very, very manipulating, and also a dick. And you have Helen Mirren, who is like this sweeter type of woman who is easily swooed by the Roy character because he's such a smooth talking, manipulated person. And again, that has a lot to do with Ian McKellen and just his charismatic charm that he has. And of course, Helen Mirren, she brings that right amount of naivety to her, but also a right amount of class to herself as well. And when we get to the end of the movie and a big twist, we find out that Helen Mirren's character, there's something much more to her character. And I'll get to that in just a little bit I'll get to that just a little bit. But overall, performance-wise, Helen Mirren and Sir Ian McKellen, they pretty much carried this movie on their backs. They're fantastic. If it was any other two actors, I don't think this movie would even be remotely as interesting. And I also got to give credit to Bill Condon, who Bill Condon is a very, very solid director. He's made movies like Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh. He's made movies like Gods and Monsters. So he's a well-traveled director. So he's got some credibility to him, and he's worked with McKellen before because they both did Gods and Monsters. So from a visual standpoint, direction-wise, this movie's great. You have a very good director who knows how to get the most out of his actors. This movie is not visually it's not visually flamboyant by any stretch of the imagination, but the movie looks great from a production value as a whole. So I like it. It's a good aesthetic. I like the whole thing. I like how this movie takes place in London. And also like how we do a little bit of globe trotting, going to Berlin and stuff like that. I think this movie also has a pretty decent supporting cast as well. You know, we got the actor who plays Vincent, who is pretty much McKellen's right hand man, and we have this other actor who plays the character of Stephen, who is the grandson of the Helen Mirren character. But as we find out in the end with the big twist, there's also more to the Stephen character as well. And so let's just and so so yeah, like I said, from an acting standpoint, this movie's on point. From a directorial standpoint, this movie's great too. From a story standpoint, now this is where I'm gonna start. Now this is where we're gonna get into it. The story of this movie is actually really, really interesting. Like I said, McKellen plays this con man, and his latest victim is that of Helen Mirren's character. And pretty much all throughout this movie, McKellen is trying his best to manipulate and just get this woman to do everything that he wants her to do just so that he can get his big score. And he's just so manipulative. He's just so full of himself in a way. And it's not to a certain point in the movie where he actually becomes a visible threat, where we actually see him kill a man by stabbing him in the throat and then throwing him into the train tracks. So throughout this entire movie, McKellen has pretty much been this evil, manipulative asshole. But once he get that kill, now he's a legitimate threat because now we're worried for the Helen Mirren character because now we know the kind of man that Roy is. He's a killer, so he's not afraid to kill if he has to. And that just adds on another level of threat to the McKellen character. Now I don't think you could. I don't know. I don't think the movie really necessarily needed to have something like that. To be honest with you, I think just McKellen being this manipulative con man would have been just enough. I think having him do a kill, I don't think it was necessary, especially when we get to know more of McKellen's backstory, and we find out that he was once a man called Hans Tube, who was a German, who took the identity of Roy Courtney, who was a dead British soldier, and pretty much was masquerading as him. And the movie tries to imply that Tube was a Nazi, but he wasn't. But he's not a war criminal. You know, I think you could have just need that. No, he's been established as a very suave, manipulating liar that people believe. I don't think we needed him to do a kill, especially when we find out in the big twist where it's revealed that Helen Mirren's character and McKellen's character, they have a history with one another going back to when they were children. It's revealed that they knew each other when they were in their teens. McKellen's character had actually raped Helen Mirren's character, who's also been masquerading as, who was also a German masquerading as an English woman. It's revealed that, during a tutor session, because McKellen's character was teaching the Helen Mirren character English, she raped him. He raped her, I'm sorry. And in so doing so, that created a chain of reaction events where that one instance started a whole chain reaction that pretty much destroyed Helen Mirren's family in this movie, to the point where, because of the rape, McKellen's character was accused of, of kissing one of the sisters, and then flatly lying about it, saying that it was the exact opposite, that one of the sisters came on to him, and this caused a whole chain reaction where he pretty much outed the father as a Nazi, and he was killed. The mother couldn't take it, and she committed suicide, and then the sisters were killed in a bombing, which killed all three of them, leaving Helen Mirren to fend for herself. So that's actually a really pretty cool, you don't really see coming type of twist. But the movie, to its credit, it did plant these subtle seeds to it, especially in the scenes where they go to Berlin and Helen Mirren goes into this house. At first, we're wondering, okay, what is this? But Helen Mirren is such a good actress. She has like this facial expression and the look of, it's been a while since I've seen this place. But we don't know what it is to her. But when we find out what it is, when we get to the end of the movie, it's a nice little payoff. And I appreciate Bill Condon for doing something like that. But I also appreciate the fact that he actually did a good job at throwing out these little clues here and there. Particularly that there's this portrait of flowers that are actually lilies, which is a clue to the audience that, okay, so the character of lilies. It's those nice little subtle things that I like in this movie that Condon, and that's what all good thriller mystery movies have. They throw these little clues out to the audiences, so that way when you get to the third act and you get to the epilogue, everything wraps around itself, and that these clues that were trivial at first actually played a big major role in revealing a much greater truth. So I like all that. It takes a masterclass director to do something like that, and it takes masterclass talent like Helen Mirren and Ian McKellen to do something like that. So that's good stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much really all I got to say about The Good Liar. Like I said, this is not a blow-away thriller that's going to like wow you and dazzle you, but it's a good cat and mouse entertaining movie. It's a very watchable movie. It's well directed, beautifully acted by Mirren and McKellen, who have outstanding on-screen chemistry. This is actually the first time I've seen these two act with one another on screen, and why did it take so long to put these two in a movie together? They're so good. I mean, I like their dynamic. I like the chemistry. It works for me. Like I said, the story's got some good twists and turns. I mean, yeah, maybe you could find it predictable in a lot of areas, but it takes a talented group of people to actually take the predictability and make it at least interesting. And this what this movie is. It's entertaining. It's interesting. You can watch it. You're definitely not gonna be bored with it. It keeps your entertainment. It keeps your focus for a good 100 minutes. And that's pretty much the best I can say about The Good Liar. Overall, I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I recommend it. It's a good watch. Anyway, my name is AJ Legend. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.